Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Jaunty Mantis once again with video on YouTube. I
I
didn't
was
tell
not
Chris about
warned.
this. Yeah, hey, sorry, Chris. I decided to put us, make yourself look presentable.
Oh, wait. Right. I'm
Now
hooded
you,
up.
now you look like one of the dudes in the army I've been painting. Green hood, got a
For
beard.
Caliban? I don't know. What do they
Yeah, for
say?
Caliban. Dark Angels for Caliban and the Lion, and I guess the Emperor too, maybe.
Jesse, you'll always be my dark angel. You and
Oh,
Jessica Alba.
thank you. That's the second nicest comparison to Jessica Alba anyone's ever made to me. I can't talk about the first. It was a night of wild passion in my youth.
Mhm.
Chris, we're back on YouTube. Well, we've always been on YouTube, but now I'm going to put video up. So now that we have a visual medium, we can do hand gestures.
I mean, I'll probably be doing them anyways, but cool. Good to know. I'll do
Okay.
them even harder now.
Well, that's Chris. That's what he looks like. I'm Jesse. This is what I look like. And this is the Jaunty Mantis, a podcast of creative questions for curious gamers. This is not a terribly creative question, but Chris, what you been working on in the RPG space lately?
Oh boy. I think I told you, but I'm calling it the Tao of Kanye gurgle noises.
Is that the name for the 40K game?
No, is that what you wanted to talk about?
Not no. I just the Tau, like that's why I thought.
So the Jaunty Mantis Rolemaster game has spawned a secondary campaign amongst my Sunday night group and
Yeah,
some other people I've
let a thousand blossoms bloom.
exactly make mostly so I can learn the archaic system better. And my friend made a character like right before we're going to start a play session. So I said, "Don't play a caster." And she's like mostly played spellcasters in D&D and some of the other odd systems I've foisted upon this group. So she picked a warrior monk so we could just get cracking. And while everybody else is cracking off interesting spells, she's like, "What do I do?" And I'm like, "You hit things? You serve butter? I don't know." So because it's such a old school system, I'm working on a Google Doc that lays out all the stuff she's good at as a warrior monk named Kanye Gurgle Noises. It's a story, don't ask. Or do, maybe for another episode.
Yeah, another episode we can find out why Kanye gurgle noises.
So the first tab will be a deep dive, and then there'll be a tab that's like, here's what you actually need to know in your average fight, you know? So, and for me, I'm learning things better. And yeah, so it's all working out.
Yeah,
What
I
have you
was
been working on? Oh,
well, I leveled up my Rolemaster character.
mhm.
Grum bum 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 bum. I feel like every time I say that I add another bum to the middle of the
It
name.
happens. Yeah. More bums in more
Uh,
places.
but there's some multi-attack skill or something like that reduces my penalty for taking multiple
Yes.
attacks.
If you make another attack, you suffer, I think, a minus 25 or 35 penalty for each attack.
If I
And it
split
applies
my
to all
action
your
points.
attacks across the turn. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's reduced by your skill in multiple attacks.
Cool. Well, that's good to know. So now I've just
Mhm.
figured out how to cheese swinging a giant club around,
Mhm.
like you do. I had a blast playing that game. But the creative question, you have sort of done an otter family Christmas or otter jug band Christmas weird swamp sort of thing, the swamp crawl for your
Yeah, the
Rolemaster.
Swamp Kingdom of Scurslow, or just Swamp Master, as we usually call it.
Okay.
Other groups made a great suite of weirdos,
I
each weirder than the
decided
last.
with the fact that you can apparently use the talent points to build anything, that if Grum Bum 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 should ever fall, I'm going to make an eel named Neil.
That's
Neil,
excellent.
Neil the eel.
Neil Patrick Harris. I love him already.
Eel Patrick Neris? I don't know.
Well, as long as you survive the stick men that I ended the last session introducing, you probably have a long life to you.
I wish I could swing that. I knew how to swing that axe in combat rather than just to chop down trees. But man, we did some epic tree chopping.
Yeah, no combat that session.
So that's the first part of the actual creative question because we talked about this a little post session, but I want to talk about like, do you think that Rolemaster is helping you like improve your chops as a GM?
Absolutely. And that's the main reason I'm still learning and running it. But having to look under what would be under the hood of a more modern system and parse it all and make it palatable for my players is, I don't know, it's like a master class course in, you know, translating mechanics into fun. And I would love it if Iron Crown Enterprises would get someone in there that could just change the user interface. You know what I mean? Like keep
Hmm.
all the systems, but just presentation could modernize the game to a degree while keeping all that crunch that makes it appealing to those of us that really like to get into the nitty gritty of role play mechanics.
Well, I think from the player end, um, you do need all that fine tuning needs to be kind of visible. Like you got to have the chrome tailpipe on the car to know where to put your skills. And it's great while the player view and era. Okay, so Rolemaster has a tool called Era. Chris is becoming increasingly adept with it the more he runs games. And it does have a player character view, which doesn't necessarily have everything I need, but for just for like, I need to roll a skill, like it's
Mhm.
great. I can click, I can put the skill, I can type in a modifier. If Chris tells me there's a modifier, I can hit go and then it will feed the dice result to Chris's computer. Pretty fun. But yeah, the idea of deliberately seeking out something challenging as a DM to help, do a master class is in teaching mechanics. Like
Mhm.
mechanics matter in a game and they can make it more fun. And having a system where it's really convoluted, you said you feel like it's driving you to be better at teaching mechanics.
I think so. Yeah. Taking something so complex and just boiling it down in the middle of a session. I did about crash out week before last because on top of me having to look things up in multiple places and figure it out on the fly because they encountered a monster that I hadn't prepared for. And it took me 2 hours to prepare for the relatively simple monster we started the session up against. But I started getting paranoid that they were getting bored or not having a good time. And so that was really the issue. Now, they were actually coming up with a bunch of funny jokes and just inter party role play. So they were having a blast, but it's a very generous group, my Sunday crew. So,
Cool. Cool, cool. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I looked up incorporeal and it just means that the being is incorporeal and doesn't have a physical form unless it chooses to and always has a 50 bonus to its defensive bonus.
mhm.
And that can only be hit by magic weapons in its incorporeal state. So I don't know why that wasn't just springing to the tips. I
But
reviewed that to make
there
fun of
was
you
also
before
the
the episode.
realization that that ghost, which was in our context, the ghost of a troll that was haunting a bridge that he haunted in life, I guess, he would have that ghost would definitely have taken out the entire party. Like they just would not have been able to hurt it
Yeah. Yeah, they're
meaningfully. But they convinced him to move on to the afterlife, so it's all good.
Oh, I love that. I love
The
that he
power of
found
role
some
play.
sort of, like story that, and I love that you're doing this power of role play thing with this system.
Hmm.
That can be a little outdated. I feel like from our discussions, tell me if this is wrong, but like you have really early on latched on to story uh as a thing that matters and is kind of your driving force in running a game, right? Like not
Yeah, I
necessarily
mean,
your story, but the story being told together.
the emergent story.
Right. So uh, I come from the other end, and I feel like we're both doing an experiment like this, and we're going to cross paths at some point in the middle, um, where you're like, how can I still do story with this really complex system? This is a challenge for me. And I got to say, playing in one of the Rolemaster games, you're meeting it. Uh,
Well, thank you.
it's such a blast to play that game, and it doesn't feel clanky or burdensome or outdated. Um, I, on the other hand, am a firm believer that system mastery is a thing and matters for your play experience as a player character. Uh, I don't think I necessarily have a struggle teaching mechanics, but I tend to have a struggle making players in my campaigns care about the mechanics
Right.
if they're not already inclined. Um, and so to me, I want there to be a mechanic for everything. I think this is because one of my first games was actually like MERP, which uses the
Yeah.
Rolemaster system, where there
And
was
where there is a mechanic for everything.
there is a mechanic for everything. So the my journey as a game mother over the years has to been move away and get more freeform, despite my love for OSR books and all the ideas contained within, despite my love for the storyteller system and World of Darkness stuff. That's mainly as a player. I haven't very run very many successful games of that. That the way that I handled this challenge was running riffs where there just very clearly is not a rule for a lot of the stuff you want to do. And so if there isn't that framework there, you have to do the rulings, not rules,
Mhm.
which makes sense in the story. And that's getting me better on my chops of reacting on my feet and not just going straight to a dice roll and letting more of that story emerge. So to me, that seem is the benefit of like reaching into an uncomfortable place
Yeah.
with a system and running it.
Yeah. Have you've run, I don't know, real simple stuff for your kids, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
Did the audience, change the experience such that it wasn't, like if you ran something that simple for another group, or have you run that for one of your adult groups? Something, anything super basic, like Troika or something is relatively rules light, I would say.
No, I haven't. I've run I've done old school essentials
Yeah.
for my kids. I've done a really stripped down version of 5e. I've done
Hmm.
regular 5e, but like with little kids, like they want to roll the dice. Like
Right.
they want that mechanical thing to be in there.
Can a rules light system involve lots of dice rolling?
Yeah.
Are those mutually exclusive?
No, you can roll lots of dice, but like the variation of why you roll the dice, I think
Yeah.
doesn't matter as much for rules light.
A lot of the times I'm treating them at maybe like what some might call an oracle die. Like I just want to flavor the events. The high rolls usually good for the person rolling it, low rolls less good. And sometimes it's just a matter of intensity. Like I have the emoji die, right? For NPC reactions is what I use it for. And if it's a D20 system, I roll D20 with it. If it's, Rolemaster, I roll percentile dice. But what's the intensity of this reaction? And then, of course,
Hmm.
I meld that with the known things about the character and what I have presumed about their disposition and concerns and such.
Yeah, I got to the same sort of position with riffs,
Yeah.
because like I'm not trying to knock riffs. I love riffs. There is a whole. I think I moved the bookshelf, and now that we're back on YouTube, you can't see. So the riff stuff is now down here. I
Mm.
was trying to go for some more indie cred with this shelf. If anybody can zoom in and read those, um, with riffs, there is a very specific skill system that has some really weird gaps,
Mhm.
like on mainly the normal things that you would do, like in the adventuring chapter of like AD&D second edition or AD&D first edition, where it has the things about like how far you can jump and like that kind of stuff. Like none of that's in riffs. And there's nothing about ability checks like described in rules as written. There's one random D20 roll for a perception check to see if you see things, but everything else is this percentile skill system, and your attributes functionally don't matter for anything until other than like as a role-playing guidepost. And
Mhm.
that's what they're the book encourages you to be. Rules is written like maybe you get a bonus if it's really high. And other than that, just role play based on your stats. This is what it means for your character to be like this.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of stuff where there's just no way to roll for it. There's no attribute check to default down to if you don't have a skill. And as specific as the skills are, oftentimes there's no applicability for what you want to do. Like, great, you have a 70% chance to do laser cryptography for communications. Like, because that
That's
is
what
a
you really need to know.
that is a legit skill
So
in
how have you
riffs.
handled that then running those games? You
Luck
say,
die,
yeah, just roll a
D6.
die.
yeah, 4, 5, or 6, it's good for you. 1, 2, or 3, it's bad for you.
Are
Like
you
it's the
factoring
Oracle.
in their presumed skills or
Well,
attributes,
their
like
presumed skills and
based on
who
their
they are.
background or something? Like if they're doing something in their wheelhouse, does
If
that
they're
factor
doing
in when you
something
do
in
that?
their wheelhouse and they have a percentile skill for it, I'll call for a skill roll.
Yeah,
And I do apply like adjustments um, to the skill. Like if it's easy, I'll give them a bonus. Like
yeah,
add 20 to your skill rating. But if it is something in their wheelhouse, I won't call for a roll. If it's
right.
not, I mean, it's that whole basic thing of like, if it's
Just
not
let them,
mechanically interesting
right.
for success or failure, like, or they
Just
would
let them
just know how to do
succeed.
it, just let them succeed and
You
move on.
know, I love that, and I try to do that, but also like I want I have had a paladin in my long running D&D game that grew up in the country, herding sheep and that kind of thing. And she wanted to lasso something on more than one occasion. But I mean, I'm sure I handled it any number of ways over the years. But the way I would want to handle it right now is sure, I'll give you advantage on that. Or sure, D&D doesn't have a vast skill list, but animal handling applies. Sure. But I wouldn't necessarily even have her fail on a low roll in that situation, just succeed, but there's a
Yeah.
minor complication
Succeed
on a
at a
very low
cost.
roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you roll high in that situation, you're good at it. It's masterful. You've impressed everybody around you. Even the sheep stops to compliment you in their secret language.
I'm sure in the DMG there's some optional rule about succeed as a cost because God knows I've tried as an experiment to read all the way through a DMG in any edition of the game. I just can't. I just can't make it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, succeed at a cost is a great thing to do when getting dice on the table. Like, yeah, you do it, but this. Uh, I am gearing up to run a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition game.
Hell yeah. I've got
And
fangs. I'm ready.
this is more just that I want to run it more than like this is not a stretch or challenge. This is just a kind of thing I want to do. I want to see what the players want to do. But like this is a game that really very much I think is more even more so now written in that collaborative storytelling writer's room approach
Hmm.
of like what is a scene you want to play out is a question I think is legitimate to ask. Or like how
Yeah.
do you guys feel about doing a hunting scene? Or how do you guys feel about doing a touchstone scene? Touchstones are mechanically relevant human NPCs that vampires keep tabs on to keep in touch with their mortality.
Yeah.
And
I like
it's
that.
really bad for your vampire's humanity and grip on reality if something happens to your touchstone. But of course,
Hmm.
by being around your touchstone, you're putting them
In
into
danger.
mortal
Yeah.
danger, if not from just you being a
Quite the
monster.
predicament.
Yes, and
So that
there
kind of suggesting scenes, is that something that you've done in other games, or is that something that kind of unique to what you
it's
read in Vampire?
something I haven't been intentionally explicit about calling
Hmm.
out and asking for. I've asked leading questions to help establish
Oh yeah,
scene, but I'm excited to try this approach of like, hey, you guys can ask for a scene, or I'm gonna like, who has an idea for a scene they want to do right
I
now,
like that
and
idea
do
that
that
it's
in
just an
session 0.
expectation that like, hey, you guys pick the next scenes like a significant portion of the time in this game. So be thinking about what you want to play out. And I've had that happen somewhat organically in my games, or like me just trying to move the action, but let the players direct where it goes and again suggest things. But if it was baked into the rules and into session zero and every play session, there's a signal that it's time to do that. I think I would like that in all my games.
There's a rule in the advanced section of running the game. There's like advanced tips, and there's one called the directive role, which is basically I think I'm going to do a lot for like scenes. It's like basically like, okay, I want to do a hunting scene. I'm like, okay, well, your predator type is what is it, alley cat. So you usually just bushwhack people in an alley, drag them in, bite them, drink their blood. What you do with them afterwards, leave them unconscious, mind
That's
wipe
true. I
them.
am always bushwhacking people,
Stop
whatever that
bushwhacking
means.
people. It's not nice. So yeah, just like you grab people and you feed on them. But that's there's predator types matter when you make your character in
Mhm.
Vampire.
What's another predator type? I need another example.
Sandman. You bust into people's houses and feed on them while they're sleeping.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Cleaver, I think, is the most disturbing.
Like
Uh,
serial killer stuff.
no, like Ward and June Cleaver, like you keep a mortal
Oh.
family and live with them, and either like they're either
Oh.
your family that you're lying to about what you are, or you're using vampire powers to make them kind of miss a step about you only going out at night, and you
Yeah.
feed off the family you live with in the suburbs, basically. So
Hell
Cleaver's
yeah.
derogatory. Like, oh look, it's Leave It to Beaver. The Cleaver's
Right.
over here.
How's the
Um,
family life?
yeah, we know where they are. So, are those your touchstones? Oh, boy. Um, yeah, so that matters. But I think for a lot of feeding scenes, I'm going to be like, okay, this is going to be a directive scene. So you're a Sandman, so Dex plus larceny is your role. So
Mhm.
like, let's just roll it at the start of the scene to see
Okay.
how it's going to end out. Like, okay, we know what the dice tells us going to happen. Now let's play it out.
Right. I like
And
that.
so both everybody running it has narrative agency to make what happens follow what
Hmm.
those dice roll told you the end result is going to be.
Yeah, that way you don't run into the classic D&D situation where someone describes their amazing swing and, what they yell as they, give it to the enemy and then they roll so poorly. But it's like, well, never mind, actually.
Yeah, yeah. I line up to do this awesome thing
Hmm.
and then I don't.
I have a
Um,
heartfelt moment with my strange touchstone. Oh, psych, actually, you rolled real low at the start of
yeah.
this scene.
Okay, I'm gonna go visit my touchstone. I'm like, okay, what is your goal? Like, I just want to watch them. I don't want to be seen.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll see how this scene goes. Roll stealth plus dexterity. Like, and like, oh,
Yeah,
you got a botch.
yeah.
Yeah. So, how do we want this to go bad?
I like that a lot, though. Uh, that makes me think. So, as I don't play in games much, which I'm totally okay with now, I did have a time where I didn't like being the forever DM, and I'm down to play. But one of the things that I've struggled with is the feeling that either the adventurer or the facilitator, the game mother, knows what should be happening to progress the story, and I can't figure it out. Like they won't tell me, you
Hmm.
know, and like I need to do stuff to progress the plot, but that's just somewhat the ADHD saying like we got to go fast, like
Yeah.
and it being a person running a game, it's like exciting things could be happening, but the players are stuck in this scene or in this town or what have you.
Yeah.
Uh, do you ever experience that feeling, or how have you handled it if you
M
have?
Maddie tells me all the time that my gift is pacing. So it's like I
Mm,
see it coming, but I feel like I deal with it pretty well because
right.
I'm willing to just say, okay, and cut. Is there anything else anybody wants to do in this town? No? Okay. 3 days later on the trail,
Hmm.
like I don't have a problem doing jump cuts
Yeah.
um, in an RPG
I'm
because
getting better at just telling people like there's nothing else in this room to explore. You've exhausted
yeah,
all investigative possibilities in this scene, or it's like, hey, how about we move on? But have you ever experienced on the player side at all where you just felt like maybe the pacing was off or
I mean, like I felt, yeah, I definitely felt it from the player side, and I think that a lot of times that's like the DM,
yeah.
uh, like if the DM actually has a plot and they're not revealing what we need to do next, like that's the only time I get mad about it. Other than that,
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh, some of the other players aren't being great about turn taking, or maybe I'm not being great about turn taking, but
right.
it's okay. But I think newer game mothers can be a
Absolutely.
little precious about their story, and but also like not like, well, you got to roll to find out, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, do I though?
There's some classic faux pas, right? That cause these situations sometimes, like gating information behind a roll, or well, you didn't look in the place where the note was, so you didn't find it. Like, well, we
Yep.
have modern techniques for dealing with that to keep the action a flowing.
Yeah, you find the note, make an investigation check. Okay, you
Mhm.
succeeded. You recognize the handwriting on this note. Ah, there, so extra details, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, I like you said, setting like Vampire is doing. You're setting the stage for the scene, talking about ahead of time, rolling to determine its outcome. So you're probably going to be much more likely to. Everybody will know when that scene's over more often than not, I would think.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I want to do too is like more like troop style play. Be like, okay, we're gonna have two NPCs in this scene. Like, who wants to be this one?
Yeah, I would love to do
Okay,
more of that too.
cool. Here's your object, and we got an objective for this person in this scene. Okay, cool. That's you. You roll 3 dice for anything physical, 2 dice for anything mental. Okay, go. And let people hop into other characters and
Yeah.
chew the wallpaper.
My Sunday night group has sometimes just done that spontaneously, and it's always delightful. But I would love to make it a more practiced thing.
Yep. I'm excited. I think it's going to be great. And also the thing they're going to realize really, really quickly is, and this is the thing that I love the most about Vampire 5th Edition, is the hunger die mechanic
Yeah, that sounds
is
super cool.
like I'm gonna go feed and I don't want to kill anybody because like you one of the cool things, sorry, I'm just like Jesse talks about vampire again.
We love it.
When you start a chronicle in Vampire, you set chronicle tenants, which there's a couple examples in the books that like set the palette for the game. So there's like the romantic one, like I am a human, don't harm the innocent, blah blah blah. But then there's another one that's just like it's the streets campaign, never back down, like like these are the tenets that are sins to violate in your
Hmm.
chronicle. And if you violate them, you get stains and you can degenerate because the arc of any vampire is over a long enough frame of time. They become an
You lose
unreasoning
your humanity.
monster and they're not like really sentient anymore. They're just hunger, fangs, and terror.
Bestial. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the end result for pretty much all vampires.
And the
Guaranteed.
hunger dice is you gain more hunger dice, and then if you roll too many somethings on them, you lose control. I remember.
Hunger, well, there's friends. Okay, so hunger dice is whatever it's a dice pool game.
Mhm.
So your attribute and your skill makes your dice pool. Whatever your hunger is, usually a rating from 1 to 5. 1, you're not very hungry. 5, oh my God, you're really hungry. Whatever dice you roll, you substitute however many your hunger is dice with hunger dice.
Oh, geez.
So if I'm rolling 6 dice and my hunger is 3, 3 of my dice are going to be hunger dice and 3 of them are going to be regular dice.
Yeah, that's super fun.
So it's a 10-sided. 7 through 10 is successful, right?
Hmm.
Great. And anything below that is not successful. Except with the hunger dice, the 1 is a bestial failure. So if you get no successes and the hunger dice has a 1, like you failed because the beast took over and like imagine you're talking to a touchstone and you have to make a roll and the beast took like you just ripped out your connection to humanity's throat and they're now
Hate to see
dying
it.
in your arms as you come to like oh my god. So this is, the drama, the arc of
Yeah,
that.
I put some stakes in rolls. That sounds very fun.
And you can also get a bestial critical where you succeed, you critical success because the beast let you do something probably pretty obviously supernatural.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think the example in the book is like you're searching the library for a text, just like what happens when you get a bestial critical. You found it because you ripped all the bookshelves off the wall, and tore everything to shreds while finding it. So now you've got it, and you're standing in this wreckage, like someone watched you one-handed lift a bookshelf, the librarian you didn't see, and now this human saw you do something that humans can't do.
Cool.
What do
So
you do?
we gonna schedule session 0 now, or what? What's the when are we
Uh,
doing this?
Well, you want to play Vampire too? I'm doing it with B team, but
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
yeah, I sold you on Vampire. You were already
I
sold on
know
Vampire.
it's a problem.
You got friends that want to play Vampire too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can do more than one Vampire game.
There's so much time in the week, so many
There
free
really
nights,
is so many free days with a full-time job and 2 children and a spouse
right?
who I also enjoy spending time with.
When I
Who
was
else is time?
thinking about recording tonight, I was like, I just want to play a game though. But talking about a game is at least as good most of the time.
Okay. So yeah, I think challenging systems
Mhm.
is a good way to increase your chops. Is there any challenging system that you really want to try that you haven't?
I don't know if I have one in mind, but another aspect of the Rolemaster game has been I'm running in a adventure for you that was published in I believe 1992 by
Hmm.
Ironclad Enterprises, and the contrast between that and the shenanigans in the Swamp Master game has made me go like, okay, I need to find what's fun in this old adventure, and we need to get right to it. That's why when you went to the Justice Hall in that town, you were quickly directed to the room with the captive dragon in it,
Hmm.
and not any of the 5 or 6 or 7 other rooms that were far less interesting, at least to me.
Yeah, there's the assumption, I think, with an older school adventure, especially, I hate to say, especially for a system like Rolemaster, but that the PCs are you're gonna need a map of the Justice Hall because the thief PC is gonna try and break into every room and
Hmm.
steal everything and blah blah blah. And with our modern sensibility of play, we're like, yeah, we're not doing any of those things.
Right.
But
I mean, it could happen. I'm glad there'll be a map, if it does, but
so we went in to try and get information, and we came to this room where there was a dragon chained by golden manacles that was there to be kind of the truth sayer for the Justice Court.
hmm.
And I just decided, because my character is generally a good-natured guy, and he's from the Highlands, and he doesn't like slavery or serfdom, or a carceral state. And so now, when we get paid for this mission, if we survive, I'm going to spend a bunch of gold hiring a wizard to tell me how to research how to break those enchantments. And I'm going back and I'm busting that dragon out.
Listen, he's been on good behavior and he only has a year left of his 400-year sentence. But I still want to see that conversation.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it's just, and this is a conversation I actually had with Mark, who I work with. Hello, Mark, if you're still listening to the episodes. He was talking about really wanting to, he said, he describes himself as a newer game mother, but like when he tells me about his games, like, ah, nah, you're doing great, dude.
You're
Like,
good.
your game sounds fun. I want to play in it. So good job. But he's like, my players are all newer and not a lot of them have goals. And I really
Hmm.
want them to have goals to drive the session. I'm like, well, yeah, and this goes back to what you were saying about the GM being precious with the story. The
Yeah.
only times I've ever felt like that as a character are when my character did not have a specific goal beyond the story. So I think when, as a PC, your responsibility when you make a character is to think of a short-term goal and a long-term goal and to
Yeah,
telegraph
those should
those
be part
loud
of
and clear.
character creation in every system, probably.
It's literally in Soulbound, the Age of Sigmar role-playing game. That's how you gain experience, is completing your personal short-term objective, your long-term objective, and
Yeah,
your group's short-term and long-term objectives. Those are the only ways to gain experience points.
I love it. When I was teaching D&D to middle schoolers a few years ago, I would, when we got to the flaws and traits and all that, I'd be like, and listen, this is my favorite part of the character because this is the stuff that makes them really interesting. Nobody wants to watch a show where the character's perfect and nothing ever goes wrong for them. So you got your flaw right here. This is really where the fun comes in. Because they're impressionable. It's time to get them story based role players.
Yeah, my most memorable characters I've played in like even short campaigns or one-shots were the characters that had a really strong goal, even if it was a stupid goal.
Yeah.
Uh, like the game that I first played in with Matt, where, Matt and I became best friends. My character just really wanted some ham. The town we were in there was a
Your
throwaway
lizard
line about
folk.
Sar the lizard man really wanted some ham. It's a throwaway line about there's a festival, it's famous for ham. Like, I just want some ham. Um, Borful, son of Warful, the Tortle Abjurer.
Hmm.
His goal
Mouthful.
was to find the prophecy, the true prophecy that he could use to defend the world from this great evil he was sure was coming because he was an abjurer. And so seeking out anything that might be the prophecy was his goal, and
I
let
love
me
it.
do all kinds of bits about just like, oh no, it's real this time. Like,
Kavika she's in addition to the Rolemaster game, she's in my monthly Spelljammer campaign, and she made a Heron or a Rabbit Folk, and she's obsessed with finding the Great Burrow in the sky. And I'm like, amazing. Like, thanks for having an opinion and a desire, and that makes it so much easier to, build fun things for that particular player into the campaign.
yeah, Grum Bum Pum his goal was to just be a weird little guy.
It seems
But
like it's
now,
working,
now he
except for the
wants to
little
be a
part.
weird little guy and also, like, the breaker of chains.
Yeah.
He wants to do a pre-heel turn Khaleesi and like end serfdom and slavery. That's his goal now.
Well, I know a weird swamp where you can basically have as many traits on your character as you want, including after character creation, probably. So
Oh, cool. I'll just have
maybe
to
we
go
need
there
another crossover episode.
and get some arcane power to come back out and be like, you
Hmm.
can't make people work as part of prison.
You will have to drink swamp juice, but you'll be real small and real powerful, I bet. Hopefully. We'll probably roll on a
Yeah.
random table.
Yeah. I love that idea.
But yeah, as far as more complicated systems, I think I'll be good with Rolemaster for a while.
Okay.
Uh, I'm very excited about Wrath and Glory. We played that first short encounter, and man, those rules are so easy compared to Rolemaster. It's like nothing. I'm like, I skimmed these rules. I'm good.
Yeah.
Also, Jesse knows the rest. So
Yeah, I do too. Well, this is too like, earlier we had done an episode about like IP and RPGs and that kind of stuff. And I'm just like,
Jesse, you
man,
shouldn't pee in your RPGs.
I know there's already a P there. It doesn't need more P, then it's PP.
Love some
uh,
low hanging fruit.
monkey grabs peach.
And lower and lower.
Strike to the
You were saying,
duodenum.
sorry,
I got
I completely
distracted thinking
derailed your
about low
thoughts.
hanging fruit and balls after talking about
We're talking
P.
about Wrath and Glory, and you know the rules.
I know the rules for Wrath and Glory because they're not hard, and I think they're fairly similar to Soulbound, actually. More
Yeah.
simple, but like easier than Soulbound. But when playing an IP, I realized if there is any IP that I have absorbed, I'm just going to keep saying it.
Yes.
If there's any intellectual property that I am conversant with, like as much as I think I'm a Star Wars guy and I know Star Wars, like the volume of stuff I have consumed for Warhammer
Oh yeah.
means the examples and tropes that I can do, like for like anytime Chris in this game asks, what does it look like when you do this? I'm just like Brother Brunt reached the ceramite grinding in his hands, the mechanical whir of his armor. He grabs the tentacle and pulls a mighty grunt. Yeah. So
Yeah. You've read plenty of bolter porn, as we call it sometimes.
yes, I
Excessive combat descriptions.
and just hyperbole and maximalism,
Hmm.
like all the time. It's still like one of the first times the A team was over, like for a social team like 10 years ago. Like they just like, oh, just put your iTunes on shuffle. And like the third song that came out is just like Brother Tertius strode down the hallway, his ceramite clad feet stomping on the empty chambers of the Notharium. Like I was like, oh yeah, sorry. Warhammer
Let's go.
40K audio fiction. And they're all like, lol. So yeah. I don't know. I had a good exit from this episode, and then I talked about that. If
Even
you
better.
are a game mother, the editorial position of the Jaunty Mantis is that you should find a system that challenges you and try and run it. If you want to get your chops up, if you just want to run games, fine. But like if you're looking to grow and stretch, throw yourself into something that makes you stretch, and you'll probably be
Absolutely.
pleasantly surprised with the results.
And the more rule sets you learn and gain any level of mastery in, the better you're going to be at running games, has been my experience at least.
Yeah, because you can totally take weird little mechanics or weird little story tricks from one system and just throw them right in. Unless you're playing with me, no one at your table knows the rules better than you.
I like it. Makes it easier for me.
Cool. Well, Chris, thanks for coming on and just letting us shoot the shit. And hi, YouTube. If you liked what you saw, like and subscribe. I won't say it at the beginning of the episode.
I forgot to do
Also,
hand motions. Ah,
hand stuff. Look, it's a visual medium. Um, yeah, if you like the show, it helps us out if you leave us a review on wherever you heard the audio of this. And if you need to reach out to us, we are Jaunty Mantis at Jaunty Mantis on Blue Sky and also jauntymantis at gmail.com. Chris, do you have anything to plug on the way out?
Uh, no, I guess not. Just listen to the Jaunty Mantis and play more games.
Yeah, get
Ask
out
more
there and
questions.
play some role playing games or some shit. Or don't. Mantis out.